Good morning. Happy New Year. It's nice to see you here for our New Year's Day service, and welcome to folks at home watching online. Happy New Year. I would like to begin this morning's service with a group reading. It'll be three treasures, one found on page 8 in your purple service books. Hard is it to be born into human life, now we are living it. Difficult is it to hear the teachings of the Blessed One, now we hear it. If we do not realize the truth in this life, when will it be realized? Let us reverently take refuge in the three treasures of the truth. I take refuge in the Buddha. May we absorb ourselves in the principle of the way to enlightenment and awaken in ourselves the supreme will. I take refuge in the Dharma. May we be submerged in the depths of the doctrine and gain wisdom as deep as the ocean. I take refuge in the Sangha. May we live in harmony in the great assembly as disciples of Buddha and be freed from all hindrances, becoming units of true accord in the life of harmony, in a spirit of universal oneness, freed from the bondage of selfishness. Even through myriad ages of kalpas, hard is it to hear such an excellent, profound, and wonderful doctrine. Now we are able to hear and receive it. Let us thoroughly understand the true meaning of the Tathagata's teaching. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namanda, 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 Namanda. We will now have Sutra chanting with Leo Balanbao Sensei, and he will be chanting Juseige on page 93 in the same purple service book. And for those of you at home, it'll be projected onto your screen.
Today we come together as Sangha to observe the Buddhist Church of San Francisco Shusho-e, or New Year's Day service, when we reflect upon our past mistakes and rededicate ourselves to the Nembutsu teaching. We reverently come together in gratitude for the all-inclusive wisdom and compassion that is Amida Buddha. May the light of wisdom illuminate our hearts and minds to awaken us to our self-concern, and by this insight stir us to strive for a life of deeper understanding. May the life of compassion warm an innate humanity in our hearts, that we may truly appreciate and respect the intrinsic value and dignity of all beings. May we who have come together today, guided by wisdom and vitalized by compassion, awaken to the Buddha Dharma and joyfully share it with others, so that we may all fulfill the ultimate meaning of life. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namanda, Namanda, Namanda. Busatsu Murya Jukyo Juseige Gagon Chosegan Hishimu Jodo Shigan Fuanzok Seifu Joshogak Gao Muryoko Fuidai Seshi Usai Shobingu Seifu Joshogak Gashi Jobundo Myosho Chojipo Kukyomi Shomon Seifu Joshogak Ryokujin Shonen Joe Shibongyo Shigemu Jodo Ishoten Ninshi Jinrikien Daiko Fushomu Sai
It is my pleasure and honor to welcome to this morning's service to offer our New Year's message. The Buddhist Churches of America's Bishop, Reverend Marvin Harada. Reverend Harada has led us through these past 2 years of pandemic with insight and encouragement. And so I'm very, very grateful that he's here this morning to offer this morning's New Year's Day Dharma message. Reverend Harada.
Well, good morning, everyone. Can you all hear me okay? Okay. Well, warm Happy New Year's to all of you. Akemashite omedetou gozaimasu. Thank you very much, Reverend Elaine, for your kind introduction. It's an honor and privilege to give the Dharma message once again, like last year, as is a tradition at the Buddhist Church of San Francisco for the BCA Bishop to give the message for your New Year's Day service. I know it looks like I'm there in the Hondo, but I'm zooming in from my home in Anaheim, and I have a virtual photo of your beautiful Onaijin behind me. For my message, I have a little PowerPoint that I'd like to go through. So let me share my screen. Just give me a second here. Okay. Let's see. Oh, I think I have to do, here we go. Okay. And a warm Happy New Year's greetings to all of you. So as we enter a new year, I think many of us have some kind of wish for the new year. My wish, maybe like many of you, is I wish this pandemic would be over. We're so tired of it, aren't we? We just wish this thing would be over, but it keeps dragging on and on and on. We are zoomed out. We have to go to so many Zoom meetings. We miss seeing our friends and family as we wish. Maybe once again, this year for the holidays, many of you might have refrained from big family gatherings. Our family, we were scheduled to go to Portland, Oregon for the holidays, and a relative there was tested positive. So we had to, everybody canceled the holiday gathering. So we miss seeing our friends and family. We miss traveling. We miss going to the movies and restaurants as we did before. I know some of us are going back gradually to eating in restaurants again and going to movies, but now this recent spike in the virus, and maybe we're going to cut back on that as well. So many of the things that we used to do, our normal lifestyle, has been drastically changed by this pandemic, and we just wish it would be over. We miss going to Sunday services and seeing our Sangha friends. Our friends at the temple, they are, in many cases, our dearest and closest friends. We miss Obon, and we miss all of our temple activities. All of our BCA temples have such wonderful activities and annual events, and we really miss them. And we miss the food, whether it's just snacks after a Sunday service, or whether it's the food we enjoy, the specialties at Obon. We miss the food. And maybe some others have different wishes for the new year. Maybe some wish for a new car. Maybe their car is getting old. Or maybe they would like to purchase a new home. Or maybe a young couple is looking for their first home. Or maybe some people want the newest, latest computer. Maybe others who maybe have a business wish that this year is going to be a better year for their business. Or if you work for a company, maybe you hope that this is the year in which you get that big promotion. And maybe others have simpler wishes that, oh, I wish my nagging back pain would go away, or I hope I don't get COVID, or maybe this year my blood pressure will go down, or my cholesterol will go down. So we have all kinds of wishes. And there's nothing wrong with those wishes. We all have them. However, Buddhism calls those kinds of wishes worldly wishes, meaning they are secular wishes, worldly wishes. And this is in contrast to wishes that transcend worldly wish, a wish that transcends a worldly or secular wish. So what kind of wish is that transcends worldly wishes? And that's what I'd like to talk about today. Well, we just chanted the Juseige. And in the Juseige, we see what the meaning of a wish that transcends the world is. And I love the first line of the Juseige. Now, I know the minister leads that first line, so all of you never get to chant it, but I love this first line of the Juseige whenever I chant it or whenever I lead it in a service. And this is the first line. I think you can all recognize it. Ga gon cho se gan. And your minister assistant, Leo, did a wonderful job leading the Juseige today. Ga, gon, cho, se, gan. And these are the Chinese characters that make up this first line. Ga is I, and I'll explain a little bit who this I is. It refers to Bodhisattva Dharmakara. I, gon, make, create. I make. Cho is to transcend. Se means the world. And ga is vow. So Chinese is kind of like English in that cho, se are adjectives modifying the noun vow or gone. So it's a transcending the world vow. That's the kind of vow that Dharmakara makes. I make a vow that transcends worldly vows, transcends wishing for a new home or a new car or success in business, something that goes beyond that. So this Juseige, I have to talk a little bit about the context of what this Juseige is talking about. And it is a short Gatha or a poem within this longer sutra called the Larger Sutra of Immeasurable Life, which is one of the main sutras that Jodo Shinshu or Shin Buddhism is based upon. It's actually based on 3 sutras called the 3 Pure Land Sutras, but the main one is this Larger Sutra of Immeasurable Life. And Shinran Shonin refers to this as the true teaching. So in that sutra, so the sutras, first of all, are the sermons of Shakyamuni Buddha, his Dharma messages. So in this particular sutra, Shakyamuni Buddha tells a story. He tells a timeless story to express his innermost heart of enlightenment. Now, in our modern day, we have sort of lost sight of the value of stories, of myth. But the great writer, Joseph Campbell, has written extensively on myth. He has a book called The Power of Myth. And I think people like Steven Spielberg referenced Joseph Campbell in creating some of his movies. So myth or stories are powerful, and they're timeless. They're timeless. They can teach a message for any culture, for any time period. And that's the kind of story that Shakyamuni Buddha expressed in this larger sutra. Okay? So Shakyamuni Buddha tells a story to express his profound heart of enlightenment, of wisdom and compassion. And the story begins, like all stories do, once upon a time, or long, long ago, there was a king. And this king met a Buddha and was so inspired. This king met this Buddha and felt, I have never met someone so wise, so compassionate, so radiant as you. I wish to become a Buddha like you. And this king decided to give up being a king and to become a truth seeker, and took upon himself the name of Dharmakara. Right there, right away. Who does this remind you of? Doesn't this story remind you of someone? Shakyamuni Buddha himself. He was a prince. He gave up being a prince to go on this spiritual search. So we can see he's telling his own, in a sense, life story, but through another story. So Dharmakara is the hero of the story, of the larger sutra. And all good stories have a hero, right? Luke Skywalker, the hero of Star Wars. And I don't know how many of you are Star Wars fans, but it's captivated me throughout these many, many years, from the first ones to the most recent ones. So Luke Skywalker is clearly the hero of Star Wars. And so like Luke Skywalker is the hero of Star Wars, the hero of the larger sutra is Bodhisattva Dharmakara. And so Luke Skywalker, he wants to become a Jedi warrior. That's his deepest wish. And he wants to become a Jedi warrior to save the galaxy from the evil forces of the Empire, right? And here he's training under Master Yoda. Well, Bodhisattva Dharmakara has a wish as well that is twofold. It has two sides to it. It's one wish, but it has two sides. So Bodhisattva Dharmakara aspires, first of all, to become a Buddha, and secondly, to liberate or save all sentient beings. And this is one wish, but two dimensions to it, two sides to it, to become a Buddha and to liberate or save all sentient beings. And so this wish is not a worldly wish. It is not a wish for a car or a home or social status or wealth. It is the wish to become a Buddha, an awakened one. Without being awakened, how can Dharmakara truly help or liberate anyone? So Dharmakara realizes, I have to be an awakened one first in order to truly help people become liberated from this world of samsara. So that's the first wish. But the others, so Bodhisattva Dharmakara, the hero of the story of the larger sutra, expresses this wish to become a Buddha, an awakened one, like the Buddha that he has encountered. And the Buddha he encounters in the story of the larger sutra, it's a long name, but he encounters the Buddha by the name of Lokeshvara Raja Buddha. Lokeshvara Raja Buddha. But this Buddha so inspires Dharmakara to seek to become a Buddha himself. So only as a Buddha can Dharmakara truly liberate others by sharing the heart of wisdom and compassion to all. So wasn't this the same heart and mind of Shakyamuni Buddha? See, we can see again, Shakyamuni Buddha is relating his own deepest innermost heart through this story, through this timeless story of the larger sutra. And secondly, this wish to become a Buddha, it's not just for oneself. Oh, I just want to be Buddha and be happy and liberated myself. No, that would be a selfish Buddha. Then you couldn't even call yourself a Buddha because you're selfish, seeking enlightenment only for oneself. That's not what becoming Buddha means. Becoming Buddha means that you also wish to liberate all sentient beings from the world of delusion. So that's the other side of that wish. Dharmakara wishes to become a Buddha, but at the same time wishes to become a Buddha in order to liberate all beings from the world of delusion or samsara. So whenever I chant this first line of the Juseige, it reminds me of Dharmakara's wish that transcends worldly wishes. In contrast to my worldly wishes, like, for example, Las Vegas, my favorite city in the world. Oh, Las Vegas. That's a worldly wish. I want to go to Las Vegas. Why do I want to go to Las Vegas? There's many reasons. There's the buffet, there's shows, but the main reason I like to go to Las Vegas is to play the slot machines. And those of you who have been to Las Vegas can relate to how you try to hit the big jackpot, line up the 3 7s or whatever. So That's a worldly wish. Here's another worldly wish, a Tesla. Now, don't worry. When I became bishop, the BCA did not buy me a Tesla. I just get a car allowance and I drive a Toyota like everybody else. But wow, to have a Tesla. 2 years ago, maybe 3 years ago, before the COVID hit, an Orange County member got a new Tesla and showed it to me and even let me drive it. Wow. I have never driven a car with so much power. Oh, it was so much fun. So maybe some of you have this dream or wish of owning a Tesla. So wishing for winning in Las Vegas or wishing for a new Tesla is a worldly wish. They are not transcending the world wishes, like the one by Bodhisattva Dharmakara, as expressed in the Juseige. So even wishing that the pandemic would be over, that too is a worldly wish, isn't it? Well, we want it to be over because of the inconvenience it causes us, and because we do not have our normal life that we once had. We don't have the freedom that we had. We have to wear a mask when we go out, and it's so inconvenient. Let's now turn to Shinran Shonin. Shinran Shonin had the same heart as Bodhisattva Dharmakara and the same heart as Shakyamuni Buddha. And we'll see by looking at one of Shinran Shonin's poems, or wasan. Wasan are the poems that he wrote in Japanese to bring the teachings to the everyday person. So this is my favorite of all of Shinran Shonin's wasans. So you can read it with me on the screen. The mind that aspires to attain Buddhahood is the mind to save all sentient beings. The mind to save all sentient beings is true and real Shinji, which is Amida's benefiting of others. The mind that aspires to attain Buddhahood is the mind to save all sentient beings. The mind to save all sentient beings is true and real Shinjin, which is Amida's benefiting of others. It's page 365 of the collected works of Shinran if you want to look at it later. So let's look at this poem a little bit more carefully. So the first part, the first two lines, the mind that aspires to attain Buddhahood is the mind to save all sentient beings. Exactly like Dharmakara's wish, isn't it? Shinran Shonin is saying the same thing. The wish to become Buddha is at the same time the wish to save all sentient beings. Shinran Shonin had that in his heart and mind as well. Then the second part of this wasan, the mind to save all sentient beings is true and real Shinjin, which is Amida's benefiting of others. So here, I think we get a very clear definition in Shinran Shonin's own words of what he thinks Shinjin is. Shinjin, which is our true heart and mind, our true heart and mind. The contents of it are the mind that wishes to become Buddha and the mind that wishes to save all beings. This is Shinjin. It is our true heart and mind. This true heart and mind, or Shinjin, is not something we conjure up ourselves. It's not like, hey, today after the Rose Bowl, I'm going to conjure up this true heart and mind of Shinjin. No, it doesn't work that way. It is something that we receive from the side of truth, from the world of Buddha, which Shinran Shonin expresses as Amida's benefiting of others. So what's unique about Shinran Shonin is that he never takes credit for anything. He never says, well, I did it, or pats himself on the back and said, I accomplished it. I realized it. In the Zen tradition, you have Zen masters that talk about their enlightenment experience. But Shinran Shonin never takes any kind of credit. It's all, everything is something he's received. All the teachings, it's something he's received from the Buddha, from his teacher Honen, or from the great masters and their writings. He's always receiving the teachings. He's humble. He's humble to the nth degree. He's the ultimate in humility. And that's what makes him unique. So he expresses this as saying that this is Amida's benefiting of others. Dharmakara, in the larger sutra, in the story, if we sort of move to the end of the conclusion of the story, Dharmakara seeks to become a Buddha, and he becomes a Buddha by the name of Amida. So this larger sutra is this timeless story of how Amida came to be, which is really the heart of all Buddhas and is the heart of Shakyamuni Buddha as well. So as we begin a new year, and we have many wishes for this new year, may we be reminded of this powerful story, this timeless story of the larger sutra, in which Bodhisattva Dharmakara makes a wish that transcends all worldly wishes. Ga gon cho se gan. And so may Dharmakara's wish resonate within our hearts and minds. This true heart and mind is within all of us. This wish to become Buddha and this wish to liberate all sentient beings, it's within all of us. Now, you might say, gee, I don't think I've ever thought of becoming Buddha before. But I would argue that point. I would say that, yes, every person has at some point in their life had that deepest thought emerge, but it doesn't come out quite in the same words. For example, if you've ever thought in your life, isn't there more to life than this? Is this all life is? Work, eat, sleep, work, eat, sleep. Isn't there more to life? Well, that's this deepest, innermost aspiration, this wish to become Buddha that is trying to emerge from within you. Haven't you ever had the thought, isn't there something more fulfilling in my life? What is the meaning of my life? Who am I really? Those are all expressions of this deepest wish stirring within our hearts and minds, this true heart and mind that is within all of us. Shinran Shonin shows us this true heart and mind that's within us. Shakyamuni Buddha shows this true heart and mind that is within us through this profound story of the larger sutra. May all of us connect with this timeless story of the larger sutra and be reminded that maybe our wishes for the new year are worldly wishes, but there is a deeper and more profound wish, something that transcends all worldly wishes, that is expressed in the Juseige in the first line, Ga gon cho se gan. Namandavats, namandavats, namandavats. Thank you very much. Let me stop sharing here. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Reverend Harada. And Happy New Year to you and your family. Thank you for joining us this morning. We will now have a Gatha. Kevin, what are we singing today? Arigato. Oh, great. We'll be listening to, actually, Arigato. If you're in the temple, we're not singing yet. So if you know the tune, you can hum along, but we actually aren't singing. If you're home, follow along and bust it out. Thank you. our closing meditative reading. I actually have two brief readings. And the first one I shared last night at the Metta Joya-e New Year's Eve service. Bodhisattvas come in all shapes, sizes, and religious traditions. And the first reading I'd like to share comes from Archbishop Desmond Tutu, who passed away at the age of 90 a week ago yesterday. A week ago today. Discovering more joy does not save us from the inevitability of hardship and heartbreak. In fact, we may cry more easily, but we laugh more easily too. Perhaps we are just more alive. Yet as we discover more joy, we can face suffering in a way that ennobles rather than embitters. We have hardship without becoming hard. We have heartbreaks without being broken. We are each made for goodness, love, and compassion. Our lives are transformed as much as the world is when we live with these truths. Namanda, Namanda. And the second reading is from the Metta Sutra. May all beings be free and safe from harm. May all beings be happy and fulfilled. May all beings be healthy and strong. May all beings have ease and joy in their lives. And may all beings be free from suffering. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namanda. 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 I would like to thank Bishop Harada for joining us this morning and offering the New Year's Day Dharma message. I would also like to thank Leo Balanbao Sensei for leading us in Sutra chanting, Kevin Yoza for his AV assistance, couldn't do it without him. I'd also like to thank Ben Kyo-do for the offering of the New Year's Day manju for our altar. Any announcements? No? Okay. This concludes this morning's New Year's Day service. Happy New Year's Day to all of you. Please stay healthy, safe, and connected. Please join me in Gassho. Namo Amida Butsu. 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 Namanda. 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 Thank you so much for joining this morning.